table is always hot with current events and social issues, but sometimes the heat can get a little intense. Let's turn the temp down, take a breather, and get into this week's topic cool down. Andre, what are you bringing for us?
So, Daquon, I wanted to ask you, who are some of the people that you look up to in your chosen career field and why?
One of my biggest makeup influences is drag queens. That's like how I learned to, paint. Is just like watching so many YouTube videos of like drag queens like Aquaria or Latrice Royale or Mo Hart
Mm-hmm.
or Monet Exchange and seeing how they paint their faces and where they get their inspiration from. And I think that it's so inspiring because you see the whole gamut of inspirations. You have like traditional like editorial photo shoots or fashion designers, but you also have just like black culture and queer culture and so many different things. And I think that it's so important to find somebody that just inspires you. Like there are so many times when I look at a look that Aquaria does and I'm like, wow. Like this is like I have no words because it's so good. It's so just like out there. Or just like I think another inspiration for me is Rihanna, of course, Fenty Beauty. Like she did the damn thing with that entire brand
Eight.
because
Mm-hmm.
for a long time, makeup companies were not doing the damn thing when it comes to having complexion products for everybody. And Rihanna was like, you know what? I'm going to launch a brand. I'm going to launch complexion products, and it's going
Mm-hmm.
to run the gamut. It's going to be the fairest of fairs to the deepest of deeps. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to ignore, different undertones because even with makeup there's a lot of times when you get to the deeper shades it's only warm. You don't have neutral deep shades, you don't have cool tone deep shades, it's only the warm browns of the world. And it's like that is so inspiring because it's seeing a gap that you can fill, seeing a gap that affects you, something that inspires you to just like do it and like solving that problem. And I think for me, that's, what I want to do is being that representation that I needed to see back then, filling that void of, black queer people in this space and doing the
Mm-hmm.
thing. Or even just like Patrick Starr. Patrick Starr in One Size is another fantastic beauty brand that really put the game for queer representation of just like, there's makeup is for everybody. Makeup is a one size thing. Like everybody can do it. It doesn't matter. Or even just like the campaigns I see. It's one of the Patrick Star has some of the in One Size have some of the few campaigns that really push, male queer people and
Mm-hmm.
non-binary people and just like instead of just white woman, slightly darker white woman, ethnically ambiguous woman. Like it really pushes you to be like, no, this is for everybody. Like I am changing the game for everybody because for a long time this industry was not checking for somebody like me. And so I'm going to make them.
Absolutely, I agree. I think for me, I do derive inspiration from different aspects of people and
Mhm.
different shows and such. Like from my particular career path, I've always looked up to shows like Charmed and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Avatar The Last Airbender, Teen Titans,
Yes.
mostly because of the storytelling. And I was like, I want to tell stories that span seasons. I want to tell stories that have messages that are just using the magic and the sorcery as a metaphor for something else, which is why I looked up to a lot. And I say the show, not so much the people, because we don't know who the people are. But we heard about her Joss Whedon and shit like that. But like I said, for me, it's the show, it's the storytelling of some of these shows, and where they have grown and how they have done it. And I'm like, damn, I want to create something similar to that. I want to create something that's going to touch people's lives and touch people's hearts and stay with them for years and years and years to come. As far as confidence. Violet Chachki is my inspiration when it comes to confidence because
Listen, when it comes to confidence, Violet.
listen, you can say whatever the fuck you want about this bitch, but the one thing you can never say is that she is too humble or she just doesn't know her strengths or whatever. And the thing I like the most about Violet is that she never has to say, I'm that bitch. She never has to say the words, I'm the one. She never has to let people, she doesn't, and even some of the things that we've seen in her, you know, in other areas, like she's made it very clear she's self-assured. She's like, I am the shit. I know I'm the shit, and I will be the shit. And
And
regardless of if you fuck
unbothered.
with, and unbothered, like that level of unbothered she has about people's opinions about her. Again, inspirational. It's like she really does not give a fuck. Like, and I think that level of confidence, that level of awareness of yourself, aware of, because she also is aware of her weaknesses as well. So it's like being aware of your weaknesses, but also amplifying and understanding your strengths. That's the level of confidence I'm trying to aspire to having too. You know, being aware of what I need to work on, but also being aware that I'm also a bad bitch. And as far as another person I look up to, Keke motherfucking Palmer. Oh,
Say it. Say
Keke
it.
fucking Palmer. This woman is everywhere. Like
Is booked
she
and
is
blessed.
booked, blessed, and busy. And I speak all of that on my life and yours, Daquon. I speak all of that. Like one of the things that Keke Palmer really teaches me also is about diversifying your income, diversifying your brand. So you're not just a singer. You're not just a makeup artist. You're not just a writer. I'm a writer. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a co-host on a podcast. I'm a actor. I'm a performer. I have these different avenues that I can walk through and walk down, and hopefully when one of them pops off, the others will follow. So I'm getting checks from multiple different places, as well as having people know me from way completely different spaces. So I really look up to Keke Palmer in that regard because she really understands her specific brand so well and her niche so well that she just knows where she fits. She knows where to get that where to go and how to market herself. She is just an inspiration when it comes to those regards too. It's just she just knows herself so well and knows how to get these jobs and opportunities that reflect who she is as a performer.
Right. And I also think that's another inspiration that I have to say is Bob the drag queen.
Oh
Because when it
yes.
comes to being a drag queen of the people, like that is literally who Bob is. Like Bob
Yeah.
has literally gotten arrested to protest rights for the queer community. And then when it comes to like the Black queer town halls and everything like that, Bob really knows how to engage with a community and cultivate a community because you know, when you get to like a certain place in your career, like you have to realize that if it wasn't for the people supporting you, you would not be there. And like it's
Mm-hmm.
a entirely long different conversation about what a successful person obligation is to their fans, but I think that there is this level of just like having that strong community, creating, cultivating a safe place because that can inspire so many more people just like you. And it can really give you the support that you need when you're not feeling your best, but you have so many people showing you love because you come for like you are there for other people. And so it's always important to remember that community.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on that too. Bob is another one whose confidence I look up to too, because Bob, when she got the call for Drag Race, she's like, I won. She's like, I won this. I did.
Right.
Like, and I was like, bitch, that's how you got to walk through life. Like, you got to be like, I did that. I
Or
got
even
it. It was
behind the
me.
scenes, like, no, like, we're going to do this. Like, we're
Yeah.
not going to take this bullshit from production. Like,
Yes.
treat us how we should be
This.
treated and not, worrying, oh my gosh, well, like, I don't want to talk back because
Mm-hmm.
what if they, like, kick me off or production
Yep.
doesn't like me or anything like that? Like, no, I'm going to beat and I'm going to stand up for my people.
Bob is one of those people, again, who just is so aware of her talents and so aware of what they can do. They're like, oh, baby, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm good at. And you're not going to kick me off because you know I know what I'm doing. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm telling you how to treat me, and I will not allow you to disrespect me. That's a bad bitch right there. Okay.
Her.
Now, so many children grow up never knowing the full scope of what their culture has contributed to society and history. So it's time for a change. Let's take a pause, rewind, and remind the world just how we did that. In the article, Ohio History Central, we learn about Garrett Augustus Morgan, born on March 4th, 1877 in Paris, Kentucky. Morgan was always interested in inventions. His tailoring business was equipped with machines that he personally designed. During the 1910s and the 1920s, Morgan continued to invent new items. Most of these items were to improve safety on the streets and in the workplace. Morgan was most famous for patenting the first traffic signal in the United States. Morgan was also the first African American man to own a car in Cleveland, Ohio. And after witnessing a car crash between a car and a buggy, this convinced the inventor to create the stoplight. On November 20th, 1923, Morgan received his patent. His traffic signal was mounted on a T-shaped pole. It had three different types of signals: stop, go, and stop in all directions. The stop in all directions signal was to allow pedestrians to cross streets safely. Morgan eventually patented this device in Canada and Great Britain as well. He sold his patent to General Electric Corporation for $40,000. Morgan also invented numerous other products, and in 1916, he patented his version of the gas mask. Morgan demonstrated his superior design when a group of miners were trapped in a shaft under Lake Erie. He immediately received orders for his product from fire departments and mine owners across the United States and Europe. The United States Army also utilized a slightly redesigned Morgan gas mask during World War I. In addition to the traffic signal and the gas mask, Morgan also invented a zigzag stitching device for manually operated sewing machines.
Listen,
Black people, Daquon.
like, was like, oh, I'm not just going to give you the stoplights. I'm going to give you gas masks. I'm not just going to give you that. I'm going to do stitching for
sewing machine.
Like, that's what you call diversifying yourself. So from blackpast.org, we learned that Nina Mae McKinney was one of the first African-American leading actresses in Hollywood. As an early teen, McKinney performed in Harlem's nightclubs and eventually owned Broadway in the Lou Leslie musical revue, Blackbirds of 1928. Her celebrity began at the age of 16 when director King Vidor, impressed by her vitality in Blackbirds of 1928, hired her to parlay her multi-talented abilities as an actress, dancer, and vocalist in the musical film Hallelujah, 1929. McKinney's effervescent performance as the seductress chick brought her immediate success in Hollywood. Yet despite rave reviews for her vivacious performance and a resulting 5-year contract with MGM, McKinney's career faltered during an era when Hollywood declined to position Black actresses in dignified roles. Determined to break barriers in acting, McKinney immigrated to Europe, where she performed in cabarets across Europe and appeared in the British films Congo Road in 1930 and Cinders of the River in 1935, both opposite Paul Robeson. During the last 2 decades of her life, she appeared in several plays and continued to tour globally.
Baby, we find a way. Okay. Like,
right.
She said, who gonna check me, boo? She really was the original. Who gonna check me, boo?
Right. Y'all want to be racist here? Let me tour the world.
Like, let me show you how much I am that bitch. Like, just every time I hear first African American do that makes me so proud too, also.
Right.
Like, just knowing that, like, we really, I mean, against so many odds, we were like, bitch, fuck all of y'all. Like, inventing traffic lights, like acting, dancing, singing, like we are fucking magic, bitch. Like
The blueprint, the black
the
print.
blueprint. What is it? Not everybody can be a part of the bad bitch genre. It's a
It's a
genre.
genre.
Yet another black woman coining that phrase too.
Mhm.
But as always, thank you all so much for watching, and keep the conversation going down in the comment box below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you are listening to us on our podcast, please rate and review on whatever platform you're using. You can also follow our podcast on Instagram and TikTok at the Melanin Margin for updates of new content.
And if you'd like to follow each of us, our handles are at Daquon MUE.
And at Andre Talks a Lot, baby.
Now we will see you all next week on the Melanin Margin, where our goal is always to bring the marginalized to the spotlight in any way we can. Goodbye now.